Hey, what's up, everyone? So, today is going to be the 61st opening that I'd like to share with you. So, this opening is actually a very long and extended sequence, and it's also not an officially named opening, but since I personally have seen it being played by Mr. Tetsuya Nakajima of Japan, he's an 8-dan player and a former world number two at one of the World Othello Championship. So I think I really wanted to share this variation since it was an interesting one that I've seen him play. So let's run through the sequence. It starts off with f5 d6. It's basically an extension of the horse opening. So over here you have d3, e3, and so basically that kicks off the start of the horse opening, and then you have g4 over here, followed by g5, which is kind of like the book opening counter against horse, which is something that you can reasonably expect from somebody who knows it, followed by e6, c4. So again, over here, this counter, it's still within a reasonable book range. You have g3, and then followed by c6. Again, those who know it would more or less know these moves. c3 and d2. But over here, basically, oh, okay. So actually, this is a typo error. It's supposed to be G6 over here. So basically, that's the variation for Nakajima's variation. So if I think playing C2, it's still fairly intuitive, but up to here, it might be quite challenging for White to actually continue. So I listed this as fairly counterintuitive. Um, so I think the follow-up move here is typically either b3 or b5. Both are playable. So this leads a slight reduced advantage over here, but you have to go deep in book in order to try to keep this sequence. So let's just assume that we play b3 and b4 as an extension of the sequence, followed by d7. So I think not too difficult for White to counter at this point in time. But if you can go deeper into the book, then maybe this would be a concern. Yeah. So the extension regroup into the center at f3, followed by White just jumping into the sandwich over here at e2 could be an option, but this opens up an attack perhaps. So over here, it's also counterintuitive for Black to maybe find this, but it's basically trying to get access to go into f2 over here. So yeah, it's still a fairly playable opening, I would say. Over here, it might be quite challenging for White to actually grab h4 over here. Chances are, after Black plays this continuous diagonal line, maybe White would go here, perhaps, or seek to poison this approach towards f2. So that could be fairly counterintuitive in nature. Unless White recognizes the fact that there's no way that White can prevent Black from taking this. So probably the workaround would be to try to gain access faster than Black. So assuming White does find h4, there is Black still has c5 to jump into f2 at a faster pace. An alternative is to play c8, feed the extension followed by jumping in into c7 perhaps. Yep. So either one would work. So that is the general opening variation over here. So I think this opening is always a bit challenging to play against. There is a lot of chance to make mistakes leading up to that opening. So yeah, let's if you find it useful, go ahead and try it. I would recommend this for advanced players and above. Probably you wouldn't want to use it against an expert. So yeah, but for horse in general, basically has a lot of variations that you can play, which are still within the playable range of ±4. So yeah, go ahead and try the various variations. You don't have to limit yourself to this particular one, but this is an interesting sequence. So thank you very much for joining me in this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.